I'm a tech entrepreneur, and a few years ago I left the CEO post of my software company and became the chairman. And then I was looking around for interesting and urgent things to take care of, and the climate quickly came up, and so I founded the company Carbon Drawdown Initiative, and our goal is to speed up the negative emission technologies. So how do you, yeah. The challenge is epic, we all know that. We need a negative emissions industry by 2050, which is huge. And until recently, very few people were taking care of this. So what my company is doing is we have invested in direct air capture and Climeworks and in storage. 4401 is a company in Oman that does very similar to what Carbfix in Iceland is doing, but under Oman we don't have basalt, we have peridotite, and it has a huge CO2 storage potential. We have invested in, and we are enabling development of mineral-based capture, enhanced weathering projects like Project Vesta is where they want to put green olivine on beaches. It's an American project, and we are doing our own project, which is called Project Carb Down, which I will be talking about in a minute. And we are also invest in science and policy, and we are a co-founder of Negative Emissions Platform. So let's talk about enhanced weathering. What you see here is a photo I took in Iceland. These are about 700,000 years old basalt rocks at the south coast. And what you see is that Earth and nature has already done its thing. The rocks are broken down, are getting smaller. So you have those gravel areas beneath the mountain. And these basalt rocks are actively reacting with the atmospheric CO2, and they create stable carbonates. In this process, the CO2 is taken from the air and is stored in the ground, in geology. It's been taken back to geology. This is Earth's natural CO2 control system, where when you go back in all over time into geologic history, then there are various situations where large changes in the geology of the Earth have created a lower CO2 level on the atmosphere and actually triggered ice ages and cold times. The problem with this is, as you can see, 700,000 years and the rock is still standing. This takes too long for our problem. So what do? We need to speed up the process. And you can speed up this process by taking the basalt, and another mineral, which is called olivine, is also working very well. And you can grind it very, very small, like 0.3 micrometers. This is like flour that you take that you use for a cake, and then you apply that to the land. And this is what we've done here. This is one of the fields for Project Carb Down. What we are doing, you see the green guy with the machine, and he is mixing basalt that we put onto this circle into the topsoil area. And on the right, you see another field which has also already been worked on. This contains basalt and biochar. And on the left, hard to see, but we didn't change anything there. And what we are going to do is that we will do this in Greece, in near Bremerhaven and here in Fürth. And what we do is that we put sensors beneath all these plots. On the left, the big photo shows the area that we have in Greece, which has, I think it's 64 different plots and 64 different variations. No, it's 16 different variations with 4 replicates of biochar, various versions, various options of olivine, and also biochar and basalt. And on the right, you see my colleague who's installing one of the sensors beneath one of the plots. And what we are doing is that we're measuring this, and we are also adding a lot of devices into the ground where we can pull up the groundwater, so we can actually go to a lab and measure things. Why do we do this? Our concept is that if you put 20 or 40 tons of basalt on 1 hectare of agricultural soil, that over the next years, up to 30 tons of CO2 will be captured on the ground. And now my dog is coming in, I'm sorry. And the problem is that we don't know how fast it works, and it will work differently fast on different soils and different fields. So what we are trying to do to come up with is a measuring system preferably with electronic sensors, where we can put a sensor in each field, or a couple of sensors on each field, and we can actually measure the CO2 capturing in place. And we do this, as you can see on the slide, we are doing this in 5 different locations. We have greenhouse experiments in pots, and we have closed box experiments, and all these are interrelated and synchronized. So we are moving soil from Fürth to Hamburg and have the experiment in a box there, which we do here in the ground. Let me tell you a short story about Project Carbdown and how it came. I met Jelle Beimer, one of the professors who's involved from the Alfred Wegener Institute. He's been doing carbon cycle science for 30 years or something. In September 2020, and the project actually started in October 2020. And despite all the COVID problems, we still were able to start on 3 fields just now. And these I've been on the field yesterday, and I will be there tomorrow. Most of these scientists are working pro bono for this, and they were when I met them for the first time, they were unable to get funding for the project. They expected to wait for years to get money. And so my company, together with a friend of mine, Ralf Kotzwara, who's also in the board of Negative Emissions Platform, we decided that we would cover the whole cost, hire people, and get the materials. So we are both entrepreneurs. We are used to, where's the problem? How can we solve it fast? So our goal is, as I said, to show that enhanced weathering in soil can be measured. We expect the first results by fall 2021, after 12 months after we've started the project. And what I would like to point out, what I think is important for the people who are actively creating the policy for the next years, is first of all, we need policies that enable development this fast, because we do not have time. We do not have 10 or 20 years to develop all this. We need the development now, and we need a lot of money for that. And the second is we need policies that attract entrepreneurs like Ralf Kotzwara and me. We are not doing this for the money. We're doing this for the purpose, and because we want to tell our kids that what we did 20 years ago, when they will ask us in 20 years. But it's important that negative emissions technologies, anything that we are talking here today, that this must become a profitable business. Otherwise, we will never scale at the necessary rate. And profitable, I don't mean like getting rich, but only companies that are profitable will grow fast enough. Thank you for your time.